Hello, everyone. Welcome to Celsius 233, your go-to place for fiction book summaries. Today, we will enter the world crafted in Alias Grace by Margaret Atwood. Alias Grace by Margaret Atwood, published in 1996, is a gripping historical novel that reimagines the life of Grace Marks, a real-life 19th-century Canadian woman convicted of murder. Atwood weaves fiction with historical records to explore issues of memory, truth, and societal expectations, all set against the backdrop of Victorian Canada. Plot summary. Grace Marks begins her journey in the oppressive confines of Kingston Penitentiary in 1859, a model prisoner with a mysterious past. Her reputation precedes her as one of Canada's most notorious women, convicted for her involvement in the grisly murders of her employer, Thomas Kinnear, and his housekeeper, Nancy Montgomery, 16 years earlier. Despite the conviction, the truth remains elusive. Was she an unwitting accomplice or a cunning conspirator? Dr. Simon Jordan arrives at the penitentiary to study Grace as part of his research into criminal behavior and the workings of the human mind. Ambitious and curious, he is drawn to Grace's calm demeanor and the complexity of her case. Through a series of interviews, he persuades her to recount her life story. Grace agrees, weaving a narrative as enigmatic as her reputation, blending recollections with omissions, leaving her true nature obscured. Grace recalls her childhood in Ireland, marred by poverty and her father's cruelty. When her mother dies during their immigration to Canada, Grace assumes the role of caretaker for her younger siblings. The family's new life in Toronto is harsh, and Grace enters domestic service to support them. It is here she meets Mary Whitney, a fellow servant whose optimism and defiance against societal constraints inspire her. However, Mary's untimely death following a botched abortion devastates Grace and introduces a recurring specter of guilt and loss into her life. Grace secures employment at the rural estate of Thomas Kinnear, where she works alongside Nancy Montgomery, a seemingly poised but increasingly erratic housekeeper. Kinnear's apparent romantic involvement with Nancy fuels resentment among the staff, especially James McDermott, the unstable stable hand. Tensions rise as McDermott frequently clashes with Nancy and plots to leave the estate, often attempting to recruit Grace as an accomplice. Grace's role in the brewing conflict remains ambiguous: an observer, a victim, or perhaps a manipulator. The turning point comes one fateful day when Kinnear is away. McDermott murders Nancy in a fit of rage, claiming Grace encouraged him. Later, Kinnear himself is killed upon his return. The pair flees to Toronto, stealing Kinnear's possessions and assuming false identities. Their escape is short-lived. They are captured in Lewiston, New York, and extradited to Canada for trial. Public fascination with the case grows, fueled by Grace's youth and beauty, as well as her gender. McDermott is hanged, while Grace's sentence is commuted to life imprisonment amidst debates about her culpability and sanity. Dr. Jordan becomes increasingly entangled in Grace's account, grappling with her shifting narrative and his own biases. He uncovers contradictions in testimonies and details of the trial, yet Grace remains elusive, neither fully condemning nor exonerating herself. As the sessions progress, Dr. Jordan's professional detachment erodes, and his growing obsession with Grace mirrors the public's morbid fascination. The novel also explores the evolving roles of those around Grace. The governor's wife uses Grace as a source of macabre entertainment for her guests, showcasing her as a curiosity. Reverend Veringer, a spiritual advocate for Grace's release, seeks to portray her as a repentant victim, while the pragmatic lawyer Kenneth Mackenzie emphasizes her supposed naivety to secure leniency. Grace becomes a mirror, reflecting the desires, fears, and judgments of those who seek to define her. In a climactic twist, a séance is conducted by Dr. Jerome Dupont, a hypnotist and spiritualist who once knew Grace under a different guise. During the session, Grace, seemingly possessed by the spirit of Mary Whitney, implicates McDermott as the mastermind of the murders, claiming she was under his control. The authenticity of the séance remains debatable, but it creates ripples in the case, offering a possible explanation for Grace's fractured memory. As Dr. Jordan departs, his inability to reconcile Grace's duality leaves him questioning his own motives and failures. Grace, meanwhile, is eventually released after serving nearly 30 years in prison. She disappears into obscurity, taking with her the truth of what transpired at Kinnear's estate, leaving only shadows and speculation in her wake. The tale closes with Grace's legacy shrouded in ambiguity, a haunting presence in the collective consciousness of a society both repelled by and drawn to her enigmatic allure. That's all for now, but if this book spoke to you, Margaret Atwood has more waiting for you. Find them in the description or on Celsius 233. Remember, while our summaries capture the essence, they can never replace the full experience of reading the book. If this summary intrigued you, consider diving into the complete story, buy the book, and immerse yourself in Margaret Atwood's original work. Bye-bye, take care, have fun.